Welcome back to Lake Placid in New York State, the home of the 1932 and 1980 Winter Olympic Games. And on the third different track built on this Mount Van Hoevenberg site, we are racing for our fourth round of the BMW IBSF two-man bobsleigh World Cup. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven, trackside at Lake Placid. Alongside me sits John Morgan, a man who has been sliding on this track, man and boy. And John, the 32 track, the 80 track, the current track, they all have the same challenge.
They're great challenges, especially for Team Lamont Dean from Great Britain in the first heat. Last man down the track, and he crashed, and it's too bad for him because he's been doing awesome all week in training, especially in four-man. But this guy we know all about, Steve Holcomb, third place after the first run. Carlo Valdez. Holcomb won the World Championships on this track a couple times in four-man, once in two-man, and he proved he's still got the eyes and the hands when he gets a start time, and he had a good start time in that first run. He's healthy. But here's the story of the day. Won Young Won from Korea. They lost their coach, Malcolm Lloyd, earlier this week with a sudden passing. They have his picture on the cowling. The Koreans have medaled before in bobsledding. They've never won a gold. What a story this would be today if he could pull off this unbelievable victory. And he's close. He's only 500ths out of the gold. And Gomer is on his mind. Nico Walter, Christian Posner. Christian Posner's wife has already won a gold medal today, and now he double. Nico Walter never won a two-man bobsled event. He's won in four-man the last time out at Berchtesgaden, and he's the old loser is poised to, I think, win a gold medal here today too.
Walter put in a storming run, but look at those margins. 1100 cover the top three. You can't count out Holcomb or one. What about Cripps and Zalims? What about Cunningham, who was bronze medalist last year? What about Max Arndt? Cody Basque on his home track. Even Chris Spring from 3/10 back might challenge for a medal. It is very close, and with 19 turns to give away time, anything could happen on this track. As Lamindine and John Baines found out, rolling out a 12, the quarter that has caused so much trouble this week.
The Francisco Friedrichs, the World Cup leader, he's not in a World Cup position right now because he crashed also earlier in the week.
Well, air temperature +1, track -5. There's Simone Bertazzo warming up with Francesco Costa in the blue suit, who will do the second start after sitting out the first one. And his new brakeman has been replaced, so he's had his first start in the World Cup and pulled up ill. Well, two Korean sleds, but Young Won is the man who might just do it. He had 2 bronze medals to start the season. There's Alexei Stulnev, and then he was in 6th position last time out. But Won is in with a chance to make a big, big story and a big dream come true for the Koreans. Simone Bertazzo will head our field, and Nico Walter will go last to defend the slenderest of leads, just 500ths of a second.
Well, first guy's up in the second run, and Bertazzo and Costa, they've been paired for a long time.
Yeah, Federico Comel did the first start, but he's pulled up injured, so Francesco Costa
problem in the sled. We got a problem. Let's see what the green light says.
The D-rings are not
So the clock's running. They got 40 seconds. You can see it down there on the right.
D-rings are not hanging on the bungee straps where they should be. They should not be lying on the floor of the sled. Again, black armband.
Plenty of time. You see him look at the clock. He knows he's got plenty of time. Fabrizio Tossini, the coach behind him, that corrected that. Longtime veteran of the Italian program. And the 17th best start in the first heat is why he's in this position.
Wow.
He used to be a lightning starter, but, you know, Father Time catches up with you, and it's tough. It's tough to maintain good starts. Last Holcomb finally got a good start. He's in 3rd place, but he's been plagued with bad start times. I don't care if you got the best equipment, the best driver, the best runners. If you don't have a start time in the sport, you can't compete.
Talk to Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari about not having the engine power you need, and that's the same story here. You're always trying to catch from behind. Good lines, though.
Simone Bertazzo's father, Joe, competed for Italy at the World Championships in 1983 on the old track, just 100 yards over the hill here. He's got a long time tradition in the sport.
I bet he's glad it was his father and not him when he takes a look at it.
Was he late there?
Late off 12.
Oh, 18, 19, he's late there. Wow. there's a couple people have crashed already this week. 56.31, 2100 slower. So the track looks pretty equal because that 3100, see, of course, there's not a lot of friction when you got air, but down there in 1819, there was a lot of air in that upper runner. He didn't have all four runners on the ground there. He wasn't steering. This is up top of the track, curve 3 to 4. Hits, should come straight. It does. Down 1819, this is where it gets a little dicey. Watch the upper runner pressure here.
Checking out the numbers, the coaches have written down the split times down the track, see where he picked up, where he lost some time. Next up, Nikita Zakharov of Russia, Maxim Mokrasov behind him. Zakharov the third placed of the Russian sleds. Coach Pierre Luders, the left of the rear.
Yeah, the documented story, the Russians just aren't getting great start times.
Well, they used to outstart everyone, no matter what the result at the bottom was, but then they focused on actually winning races in the run-up to Sochi, and that became a very sensible progression.
Takes it all. Starts probably 50-60%, depending what track you're on. It's 35%, 30% driver, and it's 20% equipment. You split it up between the runners and the sled. That's my opinion.
Still in the green, ahead of Simone Bertazzo of Italy. Shoots the chicane, no. Really hits it hard.
Boy, and he got a real high entry onto the heart. Had to steer off there. 2500s, he's going to be the leader. Just probably at least 22, 2300s, if not more. 25. So he maintained that line, even with that skid. Luders said okay, walked out, didn't have a happy look on his face, and I don't blame him.
800ths of a second slower than his first run. He was on target to go quicker than his first run until the chicane. Zakharov did not get that judgment correct at all. You don't get a good look at it, John. You come right off Benham's Bend, plunging downhill into the valley and then straight up through the chicane. It just comes rattling at you at 75 miles an hour.
And then watch him grab onto the take-on, go how high he goes. These runners are up there on ice that no one else has been on.
Yeah, not a week.
And here down 18-19. Dicey.
A little bit of a wild ride for Nikita Zakharov, but he leads. Next up, Dun-Young Kong Kim of Korea with Yehan Oh behind him.
Okay, come on. Okay. Okay.
And this team really feeling the loss of Malcolm Lloyd. He's been their touchstone, he's been their inspiration, their knowledge, their coach, their mentor.
They're so technically proficient in the way they approach the sport of bobsled. Look at the picture of Gomer right on the sled.
And so much heart in this team as well. An emerging nation in the sport. And Gomer gave them the belief in themselves. And that's what they're trying to repay today and every other day now that they slide for it.
Great tribute at the Olympic Center that Lake Placid hosted earlier in the week. Testimonials by athletes and coaches for Gomer. But the most impressive thing I heard is the discipline that the Koreans have. When their coach walks into the room, the Koreans stand up and almost have attention. And that's why they're so good at the sport, because they're so disciplined.
A little late there, Kim, but he managed to hold it together.
Intense, a lot of time in the bank, decent speed. I think he's going to keep his place. Still got the green numbers, 23. He's accelerating away now. Into the finish.
Good bottom parts of the track.
Ducks his head.
On ice, they know better than anywhere else now here in North America.
This is almost their home track. They've been here for, I saw them in 2009, the first time I saw all these young Koreans here. And boy, have they advanced. They're the most successful developed nation I've seen ever in the sport in 5-6 years.
Gomer can definitely take a lot of praise for that.
This is where the
late
British
height
crash. Yeah, but that's normal. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Not too many people get through there.
And it's a fine line because everybody has late height. But if you're a couple of feet higher or a couple of feet later, then you're in real trouble. Alexei Stulnev's helmet is not on straight. You see the center bit that should be in front of his nose is sort of over one of his cheeks. Does that mean it's not done up tight? That is definitely not centered. Must feel quite odd.
Waiting for the green light. There it is. You hear the
lift
horn,
finger.
and you see the clock up there in the top right corner. Now they got a minute to go. Take off with the brakeman's head locked in pretty good to his shoulders. Good technique. The arms come up, down, aerodynamic profile. Start speed 45.6. You will see the best teams probably get 46, but boy, hitting the wall out of curve 1 and being a skid at curve 2, and this is not how to do it at the top of the track.
That's how you give away any of the speed you had at the beginning. Maxim Belugian, the brakeman, is a very experienced brakeman. You could see from his technique. And Stulnev getting it wrong off turn 1.
Yeah, he's in the red numbers now, and it's probably not going to get to green because of those mistakes up top. Oh. See if he can get through here clean. The only chance he's got to come through here clean. And that's clean.
That's a decent chicane. 800's back. He could overhaul Kim of Korea.
There is a 10th down here, and he was down to 1.
Here he comes.
So he's going to drive himself.
Better speed than the Koreans, and he's in the lead by 900.
Look at this, Gomer. Hey, that's how to do it. He's negative on the exit of Shady, and this track, if you can drive, you get rewarded on this track. He just came through that chicane, which he needed to do. If he would have had any type of skid, he would have not overcome that deficiency.
If you don't hit the chicane, it's worth at least a 10th, maybe up to a quarter of a second.
This is not what he wants to watch in the replay, but here, these are great lines.
But you know,
everybody's going to hit here in the left. That's pretty well given. But then how you come through the heat, that might be the perfect line because he got through the chicane as good as anybody we've seen.
The one thing that Pierre Luders won't be talking to about him afterwards when they review the video is the chicane. Next up, Oskars Kybamanis. We have lost our #1 Latvian driver, Oskars Melbardis. Tor is back in the gym at the beginning of the week and is not competing. I don't think he's going to go in the 4-man either. We're going to have to wait for tomorrow, but haven't seen him in training on Wednesday and Thursday.
Wounded.
Yeah.
And this guy crashed down in curve 11 and 12 in training, and he's got a different brakeman hookup. And
yeah, Jannis Janssens making his World Cup debut here today, the brakeman.
Great start in the first run, second best start time. The Latvians just keep bringing these athletes to the competition. It's
you know
like
what sport
every best athlete in Latvia is in the sport of bobsleigh.
I'll give you a guess. What sport does Janssens come from? Come on, you have one guess. Yeah,
they're all in the whole. There's no decathlete federation left. They're all on the bobsleigh team.
Russia's decathlete federation must be much stronger than Latvia's.
But the best starts. Kybamanis is only 22. They have great hope and promise
Look at the speed as well. He's doubled his lead over Stulnev. This is a really good run.
This is where he crashed in practice. He got through there. Let's see if he can get through here like Stulnev did.
Half a second up.
Not good.
Oh, 127.7. Stulnev had 3 kilometers an hour over him.
He might lose about 10th back. He'll probably be 41 or 42 here, but this is a much better run.
Yeah, much tidier run from Kybamanis. Yeah, 3,300 in front.
55.69 in the first run. He was 79, so he went 10 hundredths better.
Yep.
69 in the first run would have left him down at about 11. No, it would have been in 9th. Would have been 100th ahead of Chris Spring.
Wherever we go, we hear and see the Latvian fans, and Lake Placid is no different. This, of course, is a nation of many tongues, isn't it?
Okay, this is how to do it. This is a rookie brakeman on the back. Watch, he doesn't know how to get in yet. There's a rookie mistake right there. A lot of big meat getting in that sled and altering the direction left or right. But down here, this wasn't perfect. He went from 4700s here to 3300s at the bottom.
Took the little slide to kill, the little steer to kill the slide and to minimize the damage. Oskars Kybamanis leads with 12 to go. Alexander Kazyanov of Russia, Alexei Pushkarev, his brakeman at the top of the hill. 12 to go in Lake Placid. Martin Haven and John Morgan watching the action. See the handle on the Valna sled drilled for lightness to get the weight low down in the chassis. Better for handling.
What's the speed? 46.5. That's not bad considering the 4th best start time. That's a good line out of 2. He's going to hit the right-hand wall here, barely. Now let the sled enter the Devil's Highway. Not everybody gets out of here clean. Watch the back end of the sled coming up right here. Look at that transition. Beautiful.
Kazyanov, though, 3,300s behind Oscar's keeper Manis. Alexander Kazyanov is going to drop down the order here. He's second at the moment. Might drop behind Alexei Stulnev, his teammate, still 3,300s back.
This is the guy who finished fourth in both events in Sochi in 2-man and 4-man. He's rushing number one. He's eating back into that lead, but he's going to run out of track, probably the 2000s. 15, great comeback on the bottom, but the Latvians beat him at the start by 1900ths of a second and only beat him by 15 at the bottom. So
the way he came back at the bottom shows what Keeper Manis lost after that skid in the chicane.
You give Keeper Manis those lines, Keeper Manis be challenging for a medal.
Yeah, Keeper Manis.
He's 22.
Lost 15 2000ths with the skid in the chicane.
Yeah, here's the little skid here on the back end. Looks like coming to the middle of the curve here. God, this is 11, 12, 13 combination. This is difficult, although that's pretty quiet right there.
Good exit.
Yeah. Well, he's a great driver, just lacks at the start.
So Alexander Kazyanov lies second, Alexei Stulnev third, but it's Oscar's keeper Manis who leads. We had a Latvian on the podium here last year. Oscar's Melbardis took silver. Behind this man, Francesco Friedrich and Torsten Margis. Well, neither of those podium finishers are going to be on the podium. Well, Melbardis isn't racing, and Friedrichs isn't going to get there from 3,600s back.
It's just tough to watch this. The guy who won the first 3 World Cups of the season in Germany on his home track and came out here earlier in the week, crashed on 11, 12, 13, which a lot of other people did also. And last year he crashed in training, he still won the race, but I don't think he's going to do that today.
5:03 start though, that's going to be the third fastest of the competition.
Oh, it's plus 2 right now. Well, we've seen drivers get rewarded on the bottom with good lines.
Okay, if he gets the chicane right, he'll beat Keeper Manis by 2/10. If he gets it wrong, he's going to drop.
He got it right, 400s.
Here we go, 400s back, he'll be 2/10 up at the line.
See if he gets rewarded. There it is, Martin, just like you said.
Here we go. You keep that speed and you carry it all the way to the line. 400s, all right, well, my maths was rubbish, but...
Still, Christoph Langen just good. But, you know, he drove well. Friedrich drove much better in this run.
Look, he drove well in the first heat as well, but there was no speed. Their runners, I can pretty much guarantee, are for colder ice than we have today.
I don't know, it's pretty warm, though, in Europe. All 3 events we had in Germany were all warm.
But it was minus 17 in training.
Yeah, this was a different thing. But, hey, look at the eyes. Look at the runner tips. Look at all the energies coming forward. That's how you get through there. That's how you take a red number, turn it into a green number in the bottom. World Cup leader Francisco Friedrich, and the youngest world champion ever in the history of our sport.
You're a bobsledder, you're going to crash. Friedrich knows that, and that's not the issue here. He leads with 10 to go, but he's not going to win like he did last year.
You could see the snaky part of the track. That's the labyrinth, that's the shady down there in the valley. I've been coming out here, Martin, for a long time, and it's a beautiful place to come. And
your dad brought you up in a Model T the first time you came to the track.
Maybe. I think it was an old Pontiac, old two-door Pontiac. There's Shady. Now look above Shady, you can see the straightaway. See that clear?
Yeah.
That's the exit of the old Shady on the old track.
Line is the outside wall coming down the hill.
I mean, the Shady 1, Shady 2, brother and sister, I think father and son, more or less, they have a lot of the similar personality. And
Shady has a couple of meanings, doesn't it? In the shade, and also a bit of a questionable character. And that's the reference of Shady I always think for the old corner.
Well, the old corner was always shaded because it was in the sun and there was a natural track.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a little higher there, but they always had to have it in shade. So as a kid, you used to hear the people say, when you get in there, you wait until you see the opening on the right, and then you steer out. And that was quite a 90-degree change of direction.
Yeah.
And it was 30 feet high. It was like Horseshoe in St. Moritz.
And those walls are vertical. They're not nice curved parabolas. They are horrible boilerplate and concrete walls. There's Whiteface Mountain.
Guess who won the gold medal there in 1980 from downhill? With the Austrian Leonard Stock. I'm sure you knew that, right?
No. I'm not sure I was born
Stephen
then.
Filmer made a good couple medals out there.
Great view there, that bridge, walkway over the rundown from Benham's Bend behind you. You see them come through and shoot the chicane. That's one of the best views there is as a fan on this track. And over in the distance, past the ski towers, is the village of Lake Placid itself, a venue for the 32 and 80 Winter Olympic Games.
From the finish, Q*1 for Rico of Switzerland.
Martin Haven, John Morgan trackside in Lake Placid. 10 to go in the 4th race of the BMW IBSF two-man bobsleigh World Cup. And in 10th place after heat 1 of 2 is Rico Peter of Switzerland with his brakeman Bro van der Zijde. Now, Bro in Scottish means big and strong, particularly applied to a bairn, a baby. Well, if he's still a baby, he's grown fast. On the right, Torsten Margis. On the left, your double world champion in two-man, Francesco Friedrich. Still looks healthy and happy, but his sled was not fast. He leads at the moment, though.
So Rico Peters had a pretty good season in four-man. Two-man, 7th, 8th, and 5th in 3 heats, or 3 competitions. 5:13 start, 5:12 in the first run. He had a lot of problems up here in the Exeter Curve 2, coming up right here. He still got a skid.
Friedrichs, he was only 200s in front of the German after the first heat. Started a 10th slower, so he's in the hole. Now can he drive his way past the German and back into the top 10?
Way back. And I've been telling him, he's been hitting everything in sight this season, and he's been fast. And here he comes, 19 down to 17. If he has the good lines in the bottom part of the track, he could overtake Friedrich at the bottom.
And these Citius sleds produce good speed numbers as well. It's about the chicane.
Going to run out of track. Ooh.
1600s, it's about neutral. I don't think he's going to catch it.
Do it. He'll get it down to single digits, but he's going to fall at least one spot.
Little tap in the final corner, and Friedrich
200s!
200s.
How does he do that?
I don't know.
How did he even bring it back? He was 1900s down the Exeter crowd. That's why this is a beautiful track for drivers. You can really find time on the bottom part. Misconception, it's not the guy. You can't gain time on the way down. You can only prevent yourself from losing time on the way down.
And it's one of those tracks where it's not one mistake that nails the coffin lid down.
Yeah, you can see watch the little skid he gets going in here, the back end, and then he has got to take on that curve. That's why he lost by 200s right there.
Yep.
And down here on the bottom.
200 of a second.
He's had a lot of bad breaks like that this year.
Yeah, out the medals by 200s when Koenigsegg last time out. Well, next up, Chris Spring with Lascelles Brown behind him. The Darwin-born Aussie slides for Canada, and the Jamaican behind him. This is, again, a massive multinational country, multinational sled.
5:06 in the first run, 5:08. Watch the speed, 45.8. Probably the best start speed we've seen. The guy's 42 years old on the back, Lascelles Brown. They call him the king 15 years ago. He's still the king. For him to come out here and still do this.
He admits to 42. Even so, that is a hell of an age to be bobsledding at the level that he is. 4th best start.
Ooh, that was a little late there, a little early there. Bounce, +3 to -2.
1:15, we haven't seen that the whole run.
Here he comes, Chris Spring. Can he get through the chicane?
Is this going to be the race that gives the Springer back his mojo?
Oh, it's down to 100. Speed's good. This is going to go.
Tying the world champion for the lead.
This is going to go either way. No, he's lost. So that's... How many places is he going to fall? At least 2.
Drop behind Rico Peter. Top 3 covered by 400s. And he drops into 4th position. Now, we saw this in the women's skeleton race, didn't we? We saw Tina Hermann from 11th place roll all the way up to 4th with one sparkling run.
And that left her in the lead with the World Cup in points.
There you go.
She was 11th, like Friedrich. We're going into chicane here. And watch these lines. Look how low he is there. Way low. Too much steering.
Yeah.
And then that's where he went. He was green numbers, and then he was even, dead heat, and then he lost by a considerable amount of the bottom, then this skid. So the low line in Benham's Bend, 13, cost the Springer.
Yep. We've already had 2 American winners today. Last year in the two-man race, USA had a podium finish with Nick Cunningham in bronze. Cody Bosleigh making his first World Cup start of the season, with Hakeem Abdul-Sabur behind him, making the first World Cup race of his life, the brakeman.
Well, these were the best starters of the Americans.
And look at the quads on Cody now. No question he's fast.
Big. Brakeman gets in 5:20, not as good as their first run. 46 flat speed, though. And you know, Cody has been sliding with Hakeem all year on the North American Tour. And you know, he knows how to drive. He had a big deficit in Shady in the first heat. Red numbers and brought him into green numbers with some great lines. Maybe he's going to have to do it again. He's 2,500 back.
But he is bringing it back towards Francesco Friedrich from 2,800s out. 122 Ks. He was 115 exiting Shady 2. That was the fastest we've seen. 131.9. That's the fastest we've seen.
Here comes the reward. He could 1,800s.
Cody Bosleigh on a track he's been sliding since he was 8 years old. Just comes up shy.
Look at this. Look how close everything is. The top 4 sleds are separated by 500ths
of a second.
So Cody was 100th out of third. He was 200ths out of second, 5 out of first.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we've still got 7 sleds to go. This is going to be very tight indeed.
300 slower at the start.
Yeah.
Didn't help that 500s at the bottom. How are these lines? Like he did in the first run.
Yeah.
Perfect. Boy, he's 2 for 2 going through the chicane.
Chicane was great, wasn't it? Seventh after the first heat. Was a really, really good run for Max Arndt with Yanis Becker behind him. They started 10th fastest. This is a track that Max can do something in a two-man sled with because it's a driver's track, and he's a driver.
He's a 4-man specialist, though. 10th best start in the first run, drove it into 7th. He won the World Cup here in Lake Placid in 4-man last year after crashing in training. 5:19, 100th better in his first run. 46.4 speed.
Stunning speed.
That's the best speed we've seen so far. People have had better start times. No one's had better start speed.
Rattles the wall a little hard out of 3.
1200's deficiency. But
this could be down to nothing by the time he gets out of Shady.
Well, he's got his teammate at the bottom. It's down to 5.
Great speed, 115.9, fastest of all so far.
Maybe the best eyes and hands of anybody out here, and especially in 4-man, Bob. In 2-man, he gives up starts. But if you give him a chance to drive himself into a position to win, he does.
131.3 in the chicane, second only to Cody Bosleigh.
Good lines. He's not going to do it, though.
He's coming. Has he got enough? Can he catch and overhaul Francesco Friedrich? Yes, by 100.
I doubted it.
I doubted it too. It was always going to be a couple of hundreds one way or the other.
I saw he was +4, then +5 into 18. Didn't think he had a chance. He found 500ths on the bottom. That's what this track does.
He had a good chicane, better than Friedrich, who had that little skid coming through the second element, and that was what took it. Look at this.
This is why the bobsled drivers love the track, because they know if they drive well, they get rewarded. Some tracks, you can't do it. Here, boy, did he find some line on the bottom. I'm really shocked he overcame the start deficiency he had with Friedrich and beats Friedrich at the bottom by 100. Top 5 sleds separated by 600ths of a second.
And still 6 to go. Nick Cunningham of the USA, bronze medalist last year. The Americans swept the podium in the women's race. Friedrichs, Melbardis, and Cunningham, the top 3 in the men's race. Friedrich lies second to Arndt at the moment.
This is another wounded athlete here in the front seat. Cunningham hurt his ankle, high ankle sprain. Look at it's all taped up.
Much tape up, yeah.
A lot of swelling. Look at the swelling.
That's mostly swelling and very little tape.
Yeah,
Nathan Gilslider is his rookie brakeman as well, his first ever World Cup race weekend.
5:20 in the first run. He's going to need at least that because all those sleds that just went down are real close to him too.
Look how smoothly they both got in there.
Pretty good start
speed. 46 kilometers an hour.
Well, he's got to be clean here. Got a chance. That's not clean. Hit the wall right and come straight. That's good. Now, Devil's Highway. Let the sled run. He's down to 11. He needs to keep this around 13 or 1400s at Shady to have a chance. Oh, he was a little early there.
Yep.
Got a 12.
1:15.2, great speed.
He stopped bleeding. Now he can eat into that deficiency, but a good line in chicane. He'll be rewarded like we've seen other good drivers.
He's got to get the chicane absolutely.
Got a 4.
No, he's going to lose time away. Maxon will still have the lead. He'll drop behind.
I don't know. Oh, it's down to 100th. I think he's going to get him.
Oh, this is going to be very close. Max Arndt or Nick Cunningham. It is a tie. It's not Max Arndt or Nick Cunningham. It is both. The top 7 sleds are now covered by 600ths of a second.
Martin is not often that we can sit there and look at a pivotal part of the track and say if he's good, bad, or ugly. And we've seen some great driving. We've seen mistakes down on the chicane. But wow, the last 4 sleds down here has been unbelievable to call the bottom part of the track. Look at this is where he got on too early there. That was boy, he looked like he almost wanted to tip over there.
Yeah.
Here, almost gets through here. And this big skid, this got to be worth a 10th.
Yep, maybe 2.
Okay, Nick, there's for Gomer.
Yeah. So next up for Canada is Justin Cripps with Alexander Kopax behind him. Tom Delahunty and Stefan Bosch behind, wearing the black armbands, as so many are in memory of Gomer. I mean, Tom and Gomer competed together, traveled the world together, sliding and coaching for decades.
Had a few beers together.
1 or 2 over those years.
Well,
feeling the loss more keenly than almost anybody, he and Pete Gunn.
decent start, 506, 48.2 start speed. No one's
right.
I don't know, that might be a little suspect.
That's enormous speed. That's 30 miles an hour from a standing start.
Well, we'll see if he gets rewarded here. 20, he's a quarter second up.
Oh my goodness, he's 3,400s up.
Well, he was fast in the first run until the chicane.
Well, Cripps tied for 4th, 2,200s off the lead. He has won in 2-man before. If this keeps on going like this, he might be back in the medals again.
Clean.
Oh.
2,100's not bad. He's going to take a big hit going on the takedown there to the heart.
Yeah.
See if he gets through here clean. Nice. Down to 16 though. He's losing back. Should have enough. Should be single digits.
And it is Justin
13.
Cripps who leads. He found something in the heart to just keep that lead alive. 136.7, the top speed at the bottom of the track, 3.7 kilometers an hour quicker than anybody else, and that start velocity, 48.2, that is insane. Cripps and Kopax, what a combination.
International man of mystery, carries 3 passports. And the chicane right here, we trade one of those passports in for a clean drop into the bucket here. Here he comes.
Tape machine hung up for a moment there, but there is Cripps on the left, Kopax on the right. Leaders with still 4 to go. Uga Salims of Latvia next up, but Justin Cripps leads the pack with 4 to go. So here we go with the Latvians. Uga Salims and his brakeman Intars Dambis. 2,200s off the lead in the first heat. Tied to the 100 with Justin Cripps, our current race leader.
Intars Dambis been sliding for about 12 years. He's been a brakeman on all this very successful Latvian program. He's the veteran. Ooh, big mistake there. Great start speed, but he's going to lose a lot back with that tap.
Dambis has been going so long, he may well have been in a crew behind Sanders Prusis.
Yeah, that tap, he's down 5. But this is the 3rd Latvian pilot that's emerging as #1 because Melbardis isn't here. He's hurt his back. He is here. He was sliding and sitting in the sled. They're going to save him for the 4-man tomorrow.
Stunning speed out of Shady 2. Stunning height as well out of 12. He got away with it.
Can he come clean? He's going to need it. Oh, that's not clean.
That is more sideways than a sideways thing.
Now the question is, Can he hold it? Can he somehow hold his place at 5 to 7?
How is he still even remotely in contention after that chicane?
11th, drive, second best time, 6th best time. He falls one spot. Canadians move up.
Yep. Justin Cripps, Alexander Kopax stay in 4th place. They were tied with Zalims for 4th. There are 3 to go, and Canada lead.
Cripps is in 4th. His best finish of the season was the last race in Burgess Garden. He finished 4th by just a couple hundred.
Yes, he did.
The medal. Well, this little mistake up top, can't do this. Look at the runners. He's trying to stay off that wall, but that erases a lot of speed. And down here, well, you don't really want to go sideways in a bobsled. And this is as sideways as you're going to get.
On either wall.
He's got a hit on either wall. That's that's not it. He knows it.
That's a luge accident right there.
Not happy.
He wasn't overjoyed with the first heat, less than happy with this. 3 to go. Justin Cripps leads for Canada. Next up, a man who has won 3 World Championship gold medals on this track in 2-man and in 4-man. Stephen Holcomb with Carlo Valdez behind him.
And he won a team competition here too.
Yes, he did. So 4. This is a good track for Holkey.
Well, start time's been his nemesis. 5:19 in the first run. Ended at 5:20, 5:18. Can't get deep into the 20s. 5:21. He's already behind. And look, he's 3 kilometers down at the start.
Yeah.
Let's see if he taps here now. That's pretty clean.
It's not bad.
Tap on the right and straight.
Can't avoid it out of turn 3.
Listen how loud this sled is.
Listen to the whistle as well. What's that coming from? 1800, 1600s back on Justin Cripps.
Down to 11. This is what he does.
1:15 is very good speed. Cripps was faster.
He has always done well on this track, but he's going to need to be perfect during the chicane to have a chance.
There you go.
And how's that?
Line,
That's as good as it gets.
He will lead Justin Cripps to the line by a 10th and more.
This is for the first medal of the year for the United States in 2-man bobsledding, and Holcomb back on the podium.
Look at that.
Wow.
3/10 of a second. The line through the chicane gives him 3/10 of a second over Justin Cripps.
Well, if there's any question about Holcomb still having the ability to drive, I think he just saw it right there. He can still do it.
Is him throwing his hat in for the win. That is not about beating Cripps. That is about winning in America.
Well,
that was a hell of a slide.
Yeah, and Carlos Valdez, the track and field athlete from UCLA. Watch his arms come up here. Now watch the chicane. This is the pivotal part of the track. You need to be clean. The picture tells the story there.
And not only is he clean, he's on the right side of the track
take on.
for the next turn.
Perfect take on.
Just,
hey, that's why the guy was the Olympics champion too in 2010.
That's why he won double gold here last time the World Championships were in town.
Here's the story now.
Well, Yoon Jong-won of Korea and Youngwo Seo so desperately want to fare well here for Malcolm Lloyd, their coach.
I think everybody here, coaches, athletes, spectators, they want to see this guy win.
It would be one of those Hollywood stories.
5:05 in the first run. 5:10. I think the driver didn't have a good start. Didn't look to me like he hit the push bar perfectly.
I think you're right. And the nerves and the tension within the team, the emotions are just overflowing.
Everybody is rooting here for a podium, if not a gold. They've never won a gold before. They've been on the podium 3 times. And this.
He's already had 2 bronze medals this season. He's in the silver medal position after the first heat, and he is leading
quarter of a
Stephen Holcomb,
second.
the Olympic and world champion.
Oh, beautiful line. 13, 14, 11, 12, 13.
The chicane could give him what he needs. 1200 up. That's a decent run through the chicane.
This is going to be close. This is at least a medal for Korea. It'd be a great set of medals.
500 up. Will he stay in front of Holcomb?
It's close.
500 out of the lead in the first heat, and he's behind.
But still a bronze medal. Still, they have nothing to worry about. His nemesis was the start. If they show us the start here, he missed the timing. Him and the brakeman did not have it. The extra, there's the sign on the front of the sled.
But you know what? I know they want to win, and one day they will.
They will win, and it might be in the 2018 Winter Games.
But whatever else happens...
So at the start, look at him. See, look at that.
Yeah.
See, he came way over the top of the bar.
Overran it.
So, yeah, so they did not have a cohesive start, and that's unlike them.
Yeah.
As you said, they might have been too pumped up.
Oh, I mean, the emotions in us are flooding out. What must they be like?
Oh, look at this. They didn't even know that Gomer had passed away until they arrived. They were arriving by car here. So the team, to achieve what they did, is unbelievable. And the race goes on.
And the race goes on. Korea second, USA first. Last sled on the ice, looking for his first ever two-man World Cup win. Nico Walter with Christian Poser behind him.
4th, 7th, and 3rd in the first 3 World Cup races. He's given up big leads in the second run in 2 of those 4 races. Oh, big skid there.
He only has 1100s over Holcomb. He's doubled that with a 5:10 start. That's 2200s as he sits down.
And see, he's not clean there either. Here. He won the last 4-man race in Berchtesgaden before Christmas.
Yeah, he
quarter of a second lead. That's pretty tough to throw that away. But
didn't allow it to slip away, did he?
On this track,
well, there's still 15 more opportunities to get it wrong.
down to 18.
1:16.1, fastest speed we've seen all competition. He was flying in the first heat. The speeds were insane, and he's doing it again. And if he gets his speed right, that's good enough. 700s, 132, quicker than Holcomb.
This is going to be right to the 100. No, I think Holcomb's going to win.
Holcomb is going to win. Another American winner. It is Super Friday. 3 races, 3 American winners.
Holcomb back in a gold medal position. I guess home track advantage, but you have to perform on this home track. Holcomb did. And look at that, he beat Juan by 100th of a second.
Yeah.
Right here, the skid, this is the first mistake. Ooh, like there, that was not good. You see him play with the runners?
He ran deep and didn't have his hands on the D-rings when the sled came out of those guides.
Look,
Francesco Friedrich says, you got tears in your eyes. Of course he's got tears in his eyes.
Holky, here comes Cripps. This is what the fraternity of this sport is right here.
Yeah.
We've all dealt with a serious loss this week of one of the legends of the sport. What a great competition.
Yes.
No wonder he's got tears in his eyes. Stephen Holcomb, Carlo Valdez win to complete the trifecta for Team USA. Annie O'Shea won the women's skeleton. Jamie Grubel-Poser and Sherelle Garrett won the women's bobsled. And now Steve Holcomb and Carlo Valdez win the 2-man bobsled competition. They're 3 for 3 today, Team USA.
But Holcomb, a lot of people were doubting first part of the year. He was sitting in the sled in Altenburg.
Yeah.
But here, you know, he didn't have the great starts. Again, he's posting the 19th best start time.
Well, listen, we knew he was hurt. We knew he could still drive.
Well, we'll see what he does tomorrow in the 4-man. The guy still has the eyes and the hands. The eyes of a hawk and the hands of a surgeon. He doesn't have the best start times, but he could still drive a bobsled.
And next week, we head back to his hometown of Salt Lake City, Utah. Well, there you see Nick Cunningham over the wall, leading the congratulations.
You know, and
Holcomb is the figurehead of this team, and to see him back at his very best, winning gold, does everybody good.
Going to have a little different skip as he gets up to that podium tonight.
Well, there he is. Stephen Holcomb wins again. First gold of the season for Holcomb. Nico Walter second, and Yoon Jung-won of Korea takes the bronze medal. His 3rd bronze of the season, ahead of Justin Cripps, Ugo Zalims, and Nick Cunningham rounding out the top half dozen, tying with Max Arndt, who had another great 2-man performance here. Cody Bascu 11th, his first World Cup race of the season. Simone Batazzo rounding out the field in 17th place. Lamin Dean crashing out in the first heat, didn't take part in the second. Well, it's been an emotional day for the American athletes and the American fans. Jamie Grubel-Poser winning the women's competition after finishing in 3rd place in a podium sweep last year. And in the women's skeleton, Annie O'Shea claiming only the second podium of her World Cup career and her first ever win, again on home ice here in Lake Placid. And Steve Holcomb returns to victory circle here in Lake Placid, the other US track that he calls home. Well, this is really the heartland of US bobsledding. The Olympic Training Center down in the town of Lake Placid is ground zero for US sliding. Whether you're a bobsledder, a skeleton athlete, or a luger, if you're in Team USA, you spend more time here than any other. And lots of athletes spend so much time here as well. Tony Carlino and the track crew have this track iced early and iced late. They run bob schools, they run all sorts of races for World Cup, Intercontinental Cup, North American Cup. And they have lots and lots of training opportunities. And if you can drive this place, there aren't too many tracks that are going to hold much fear for you, because this, once you get it inside your head, is a tough track but a rewarding one. Talking to coach Zach Lund earlier on, the skeleton coach for the US team, he said, this place is so different. I have like one frame of mind for Lake Placid and one frame of mind for everywhere else. All the fans who came out from school or from home today to the track have been rewarded with American wins in all 3 competitions. It's the first time that has happened so far this season. First man not called Francesco Friedrich to win this year in 2-man, Stephen Holcomb, and a well-deserved victory. Fourth race in the BMW IBSF 2-man bobsleigh World Cup is complete. Francesco Friedrich still leads the standings despite finishing a slightly disappointing 8th place here. Yoon Jung-won of Korea moves up to 2nd ahead of Nico Walter, Justin Cripps, and Steve Holcomb with victory moves up into 10th place just behind teammate Nick Cunningham. And the big change, Oskars Melbardis not scoring here. He did not compete. Melbardis injuring himself in the gym, and we wait and see whether he will be fit to compete in Salt Lake City. Well, 3 weeks of fast-paced racing, starting with Lake Placid, and victory for Steve Holcomb. Carlo Valdez behind him doing his share of the start work as well. Holcomb is coming back to fitness. He's getting the strength back. With the strength comes the speed that he needs to be able to drive these tracks. They're different when they're slow. They're not the tracks he knows. When they're quick at the start, though, then he knows where he's going, and he makes full use of that knowledge. Winning by 11 hundredths over Nico Walter and Christian Poser. And Yoon Jung-won and Youngwoo Seo of Korea claiming a very well-deserved bronze medal for their late coach, Malcolm Lloyd. Oh, they're wearing ribbons for Goma. They're wearing his name on their sled and on their helmets. And in the tribute that the Lake Placid town held to Malcolm Lloyd a couple of nights ago, the Korean coach was in tears as he tried to sum up just what Goma means to this team. Steve Holcomb, victory for the first time this season. And a great way to start the North American swing for Team USA. And that's it from Lake Placid for the 2-man. Join us next time out when we head to the 2002 Winter Olympic venue at Park City, Utah. Until then, on behalf of John Morgan and the IBSF TV crew, I'm Martin Haven saying thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time out. Goodbye for now.